1,184,137 views. It's literally going up all the time. And like, you know, there's a reason, you know, there's a reason that these videos are getting more than 1 million clicks, you know. I mean, it's time really now to come into the full bloom, full actualisation of the life, you know. Hey.
How do you want to come in to do this interview? How do you see it opening?
Oh, you filmed?
Yeah, do you want to do an interview now? You ready?
Yeah. I kind of have this vision of myself sliding through like a big kind of soapy plastic on the floor, you know, like in a big open space, and then like sliding through like with the guitar, singing Lesson Theory, you know.
And that's how you want to start this interview about the distribution? Because we're about to go live.
Very good rhythm. Rhythm in the heart, rhythm in the soul.
What about any comments about the distribution so far?
Oh yeah, okay, so we're going to do the interview now?
Yeah.
Ramra chap. Do you like my new glasses? I got these for the new, we're going to do some like modern day gonzo journalism. And these are my like, you know, Lost it, what's it called again? Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. What a great book. So this is my little homage to that. How do you like it?
Rock and roll.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got a few questions here. So how about the distribution so far? How's it going?
Okay, so the distribution so far is going like this. First of all, we completed the fundraiser and we made altogether £1,000, which is what we asked for. Kept it like, you know, just manageable in the beginning because we could have asked for more, but we just asked for £1,000, and so that comes through, that translates as 150,000 rupees. And so what we did is we've kind of done half of the funding now. We got 50,000 rupees worth of the funding went on food, and we distributed the first half. And then we went and we just did some little things, like I was helping some different people in different ways, people that I meet out there, and you know, some of them I will literally like, you know, pay a little bit of their rent, or like, you know, like, so sometimes I am actually giving money, but I'm always very conscious of like, you know, not giving money to people when they might not spend it on what they need to spend it on. So it's been a kind of process, and for me it's just a really, like, you know, like for me the most important thing is to really get it to people who need it, not just to do it for show, you know. This is actually something that really is there to help people who, you know, I've been there myself, so I know, you know, when you haven't got anything, when you're just on your ass, and now this whole corona thing has really put people in that situation. So the fundraiser was really about that, and now as we move on to the second half of it, there's another 75,000 rupees remaining to distribute, and tomorrow we will get the bulk of it, which is all food. So there'll be a truck again full of food, and so then we're going to be this time splitting those bags down into, you know, because they get 20 kilos of rice, for example. So now we're going to make it more like 10 kilos, and we're going to get it to some more different people who and we're going to try to really do a little bit more digging and find out, maybe when someone comes and they're wearing all nice clothes like last time, and you know, maybe we'll say, oh, can we come and have a look in your kitchen, you know, and just kind of just make sure, you know, just try and make sure that we're really getting it to people who actually need it, and we're not just doing it for the show, you know. For me, that's the most important thing I feel about it, but it's obviously a team effort at this point. You're obviously one voice, and like, you know, there's a few people on this, and so what I think it's just been nice that we can kind of talk about everything and then just try to distribute it in the best way that we can. Because yeah, even if it is just $5, that goes a long way in Nepal, you know, that might feed you for a whole week, you know. So like, you know, we really want to kind of, you know, none of that money should be wasted, is what is the point. You know, nothing should be wasted, and you know, of course there'll always be that, you know, but really we want to try to kind of be a little bit assertive tomorrow and get in there and kind of say, oh, can we do a little, you know, just kind of put the camera on a few people, because, you know, always I ask for permission when we do that anyway, just to let them know, okay, we're going to film, yeah, is that okay? And they say, you know, they overwhelmingly usually say yes. But I always do that anyway. But then I think it would be really great to just do a little bit of a follow-up so people can actually see, because people would like to see, you know, okay, well, look, okay, what's the problem? Maybe in the future we can do something even better to help people, you know? So I think it's good, the more that we can get in there and kind of show what's really happening, you know, rather than people just walking off with bags of fries. Maybe we can like go in there and kind of say, oh look, you know, now you can cook, or whatever it is, you know, just to hold it in a friendly way. I think it'll be cool.
Good.
Yeah.
About a follow-on question. So tell me and all your viewers and followers, what inspires you to do this?
What inspires me to do this in terms of the fundraiser?
Yes.
Yeah, well, what inspired me to do this? Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, the thing is, it's a bit like when people always ask me, like, why do you love Nepal? And like, it sounds like such a simple question, but actually it's not an easy one to answer because there's so many different reasons. And it's a bit like that with the fundraiser. I feel like I'm in a very fortunate position now in my life. You know, I had my hard times, but now I'm in an incredibly fortunate kind of situation, and I don't really need for anything, you know. And like, so the more that I can really, when I see like problems in the world, I think the more that all of us can kind of, on a local level, help people, whether it's the homeless guy in the street drinking his can of cider and he's got nowhere to go tonight, and you can kind of point him in the right direction, or just, you know, sharing kindness is, obviously, you know, it's always going to be different. Like, maybe, you know, it really depends on the situation, doesn't it? But I think to create the situation and to hold the space for kindness itself, to kind of, you know, and as we were out there, we actually met some other guys who were doing a similar thing. There was a truck full of these Buddhist guys, and they were giving out food, the same, and it was on the video there, one of the earlier videos. And so, you know, it's just great. For me, it feels like that's the, you know, people talk about social activism and stuff like that, but for me, like, the best thing that I can do for this world is to be an example of the solution as I see it. And for me, the solution is about that. It's about generosity. It's about gratitude. It's about togetherness. It's about unity. And, you know, those are not just kind of nice words that would be nice, but, you know, we have to actually activate that in some way. We have to put some, you know, steps in so that it kind of can become more normalised, because I think we've just become so separated as a species, and yeah, it's kind of a big problem in the world. I don't know.
Yeah, good.
I'm just going off on a bit of a tangent now. So the question was, yeah, what inspired me to do it is, I mean, I've done similar things before. Like when I'm busking in Kathmandu and I collect money, and I usually make good money, like you wouldn't believe it. Like I sing a few Nepali songs, and like even if many people give, which they do, many people give 10 rupees, 20 rupees, I'm there with like a big bundle of notes. And then I go and change it all, and then what I used to do is you know, it was that again was a whole process, because the whole kind of Dalit and the caste system really hit me hard when I first encountered it. So now these days I'm much better at kind of discerning, like, how can I best help people, you know. And so usually that means taking them for, you know, we used to take them for dalbat, and then we'd take them to a guest house and they'd have a shower, they'd wash, because they're just covered in grime, you know, in Kathmandu. Wash them, put some flip-flops on their feet, and you know, and hopefully then they can find some spark within themselves to take their life in a better direction. And that's kind of the best thing you can do for people. So again, with this fundraiser, it's about really enabling people to make better decisions for themselves, so that they don't have to really kind of be in the angst of worrying about how the hell they're going to eat the next dalbat, you know. So yeah.
So, and as you like mix both creativity and humanitarian work, tell me about your creativity.
My creativity, well, I've had my own share of problems, as I kind of touched on before in the previous question, but I really did have, you know, I had, at school I was told that I wasn't good enough, you know, so I grew up with this kind of image of myself. I was very low, I had like a very low self-value, you know, so over the years it's been a process of kind of learning to value myself, you know, step by step. And then I went through rehab a few times and stuff like that. So for me, creativity is mostly these days about music. I was in art college when I was a lot younger, and I remember there was a moment when I was sat there and I was looking at my guitars and I thought, wow, I haven't played guitar for like 3 weeks. And then it was just in that moment, I remember I just kind of shut my sketchbook and I just picked up the guitar and I just decided, you know what, no, I've got to give it to the music, because like I can only give, you know, like if you're doing like a full, like I was doing graphic design at like art college, you know, so like I had to give all my focus on that to be able to do it in the way that I wanted to be able to do it the best I could do, but then I wasn't playing guitar. So like, what creativity, yeah, it's a whole process. Year by year, that's always changing. But for me, my outlook is what's most beneficial. And I'm working towards an album, a kind of a fusion album of English and Nepali, and with some spoken word, and with some, so that actually there's going to be 2 albums. There'll be one album of my favourite cover songs that I've learned in Nepali, because there's quite a few of those now. So I'll be recording those, and we've already started recording some of them. And then there'll be an album of original songs. So that's what I'm kind of working towards, with the creativity. Wow, it's hot. Garami chao.
And just a final question. So what's next for Alex Nepali in 2020?
Oh yeah, okay. Well, we want to, you know, this whole Corona thing has kind of thrown everyone, hasn't it? But like, you know, before this all happened, I was having emails saying, Alex, do you want to come to Portugal? Do you want to come to South Korea? Do you want to come to Japan? I got invited to Australia. I got invited to many places, and I was just kind of feeling so good about that. And then I lost my whole Facebook when literally as Corona started. I then came back to the guest house and suddenly Facebook was just frozen out, and then I was locked out for like 3 months, or two or 3 months. So yeah, it's funny how these things happen, and you know, I could really make that into something, you know, I could really kind of sit here and feel all hard done by, you know, which is, you know, I would in a sense have a right to feel a bit like that, but I don't. I've learned as I got older to kind of turn it into benefit. You know, everything is here for the meaning of benefit. You know, so you can talk about sharing kindness, give to, you know, you could talk about like, you know, for me, like, you know, I love the flash mobs. I love what, you know, goes on with these flash mobs. And I think, you know, I just think there's a great wealth, a great potential there. When you talk about creativity, you know, what does it mean to me? It's something actually much more than just an album, you know. Like, what it means to me is like, well, you know, like kind of, it's a mixture of kind of vlogging, music, immediate kind of a reflection. It's also a self-reflection. In the same moment, you're speaking out your truth, and what does that do? That gives permission. You remember this famous quote by Nelson Mandela, or I think he got it from someone else, you know, that when we let our light shine, we give permission for others to turn the light on within themselves. And I think for me, that's just the most powerful thing, because, well, I know it is. If I'm not in the problem, which is for me, like I had some problems with addiction, so now I'm not in those problems, and then very much the solution for me is like a couple of times I got people on stage for the, you know, and then actually someone in Goa said to me, wow, you're so good at getting people on stage for the first time. And what I'd do is I'd have a little jam with them in the day and then say, what's your favourite song? And then we'd do it and we'd practice it a few times. And then on the night time I'd have my concert, and then they'd be there and I'd say, oh, why don't we try and sing that song, you know? And then I'd spring it on them in that moment. And then that's a very, very powerful karmic exchange, you know? Because for someone to come up and present something to the world in front of their peers is not a small thing. It's a big thing. And so then that's really, for me, so interesting. Because the one time I remember, I mean, that's happened many times, but like, the one time I remember most recently here in Pokhara last year, and this girl, she sang Hallelujah, Hallelujah, and she'd never been on stage before, she'd never sang in a microphone before, and then suddenly she's just there next to me doing it, you know, and that's a very powerful kind of, I feel that like a penance, like a, I don't know the word, like a kind of, you know, a karmic debt is being, you know, and then for me with the Vipassana, it all links up, you know. When you do Vipassana, they teach you that, like in the Buddhist sense, you have these different cups of, and drip by drip, in lifetime after lifetime, you're filling those different cups up, you know, of different issues, of different like imbalances. They're becoming balanced in time, you know. So like that's how I see life. I see life very much in terms of not just this life. I see it in terms of like all of the lives that might happen in the future and what might have happened in the past also. So yeah, that's just me. I mean, I guess I'm kind of a little bit different like that, but that's my inner understanding of the world. So then that really gives you a lot of freedom to kind of, well, I don't know, I know it does. It kind of really gives you a lot of freedom to be, I don't know, different or quirky, or like, it's not that you try to be those things. Those things just come about as a result of living your really deeper truth, your higher truth. So I believe in that. I believe in living my higher truth, and that is the solution to the spiritual malady of addiction. The way that I see addiction is that it's a problem of the spirit. It's a kind of confusion of the spirit, and so to become unconfused is about like going in the opposite direction, you know. So when you're in addiction, you're taking. It's all about you know. And so when you're in recovery, it's all about giving other people, and then as you give other people, you become incredibly fortunate, and that's how I see the world, you know. So like, I don't know if that's like wrong or like, but that's just something I feel really passionately about, because I know it's true for me.
Okay, much appreciated.
Namaste, namaste, Samilai. Thank you for listening. Yeah, I think we did a good interview, man. Cool. Respect. Thanks, Mickey. Thanks.
Hariom.
Hariom, Hariom.